Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson and JD, of course. Thanksgiving Eve, November 23rd, hard to believe, but we still have one more week left in November. This is Sports Scene, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, your place to browse, shop, and visit. Sports Scene is an interview show that we do every Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about 1650. Twitter, you can see all my Twitter handles at gjbtv.com on the homepage. Greg Bick, Gregbic. And, of course, our good friends here at WHKT AM 1650. Thank you to our military as well. Great guest lineup and sponsors on gjbtv.com homepage, and marketplace sponsors, and great audio and video content on gjbtv.com. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 excellent locations in Virginia Beach. Excellent Mexican food. And by tomorrow, you're going to be tired of turkey, so go by Mi Casita on Friday. Phone line presented by Newcastle. Sponsors in November, Spaghetti Eddies, Newcastle, Crawl Space, and Mihogar. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, after the first of the year, we'll be carrying at least 10 Wizards games right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing in WHKT, of course, as well. Wizards in the NBA. Redskins, Dallas. Thanksgiving on Fox. The polls, college football polls, just came out recently. Of course, Alabama number 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, Clemson 4. Still a work in progress because a lot of games are still left to be played, like the Big Ten championships. Alabama still got a few more games, and of course, Ohio State and Michigan as well. FCS playoffs, you don't want to miss it. 2 p.m. Saturday on ESPN3. North Carolina A&T versus Richmond, of course, as well. Look forward to Virginia Tech and UVA as well. UVA's had a disastrous season. Virginia Tech has had a very, very good season as well. All right, this past week, the Redskins won again. Congratulations. Beat the Green Bay Packers this past weekend. Of course, they lost to the Packers in January on Fox during the playoffs. But there's been a lot of tension about the extension of the contract of quarterback Kirk Cousins, who went to Michigan State. He's very quiet, but he's very emotional. And the guy who's plucked his nerves the most is the general manager, who I thought has done a pretty good job. But this was the reaction after the game.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? Good stuff, man.
Sometimes, Joe Daniel, I want to get your thoughts too. When the general manager of a team is on the sideline, when he's not part of the coaching staff, and he's not signing the quarterback to a long-term deal, sometimes it can be awkward. That was awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the relationship between and all that, but absolutely. I mean, if you're against somebody or if there's some tension between the two, and then this happens, yeah, I understand. You know, you could see it kind of like, hey, you did a good job. I'll give you that. You did a good job.
Oh, the quarterback patted the general manager on the head like a kid afterwards.
He did. I saw that.
He patted him on the head.
Well, I mean, the coach gave him like a good job, thing, and then yeah, you could see though that the quarterback was pretty intense in his face, like, I proved you wrong, and like you said, how do you like me now?
Yeah.
And like, kind of, I could see I was kind of condescending, the tapping on the head.
Very good. All right, this is Sports Scene right here on 1650 AM right here, tunein.com as well. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars and newcomers right here. Stay tuned.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddies. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, This fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
And one of the busiest travel days. Hope everybody's safe and sound going to and from wherever you might be on 64, 95, wherever you might be listening, of course, throughout Hampton Roads and beyond right here as well. Greg Bicouvaris, this is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. We've had him on before. Let's welcome him back. Doug Ripley, the voice of Old Dominion women's basketball, also part of the ODU Football Network, also does some subbing as well for men's basketball too. Been a part of that team for a long time. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Greg. How about yourself?
Very good. You had a long, busy night last night, and let's talk about that game and experience. The Lady Monarchs lost to Duke 92-64, but you always evolve playing an ACC team this early.
Yeah, and I think it'll only help this team down the road. Tough start to the year, going 1-2, playing 3 games in 5 days. Unexpected loss here to William and Mary, but really, I think that game against a good team, a well-coached team with high basketball IQ there by Ed Swanson, and then on top of that, going to Duke and playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium, I think it identified some issues that need to be addressed right away, and sometimes it takes getting out there and facing somebody other than yourselves to be able to identify those issues. The ones for Old Dominion are mainly the Lady Monarchs are not hitting it from the outside very well, and then also the bigger issue is the turnover margin. Old Dominion right now bordering on -10 per game in terms of turnover margin, which, let's face it, it's just a little out of control at this stage. So they just got to reel it in here. They've got about a week to do that, which is the nice benefit to this schedule. They've got some breaks built in between a clusters of games as it relates to non-conference play, and we'll see if Karen Barefoot's bunch can hammer it out.
Talking to Doug Ripley right here, the women's basketball voice of Old Dominion. But, Doug, we're going to talk football here a little bit and work our way back to basketball since both just started. What a year. Would anybody have expected the football team to be 8-3? Last game on ESPN3, of course, this coming up Saturday against FIU. What a dramatic turnaround. Last year was all about trying to get 6 wins. They secured that, then some, a few weeks ago. And it's not a matter of what bowl, it's a matter of how good is the bowl going to be. This has to be an exciting time for Old Dominion.
Absolutely. And all the credit in the world goes to Bobby Wilder, his players, and staff for what they have done in a short period of time. Not only with what they've done now in Conference USA, but how quickly and effectively they've been able to build a winner at Old Dominion for football. I mean, let's put this in perspective. This is just the 8th season of competitive football for Old Dominion University. On top of that, you compare this to other teams that have gone up and decided to make the sudden leap here from the football championship subdivision to the football bowl subdivision. Take Western Kentucky, a team that, of course, everybody is gunning for here the last couple of years in Conference USA. Of course, Old Dominion doing that right now because if they win at home over FIU this weekend, you pair that with a Western Kentucky loss to Marshall, and the Monarchs are all of a sudden into the Conference USA championship game, despite getting hammered in Bowling Green earlier this year. But getting back to Western Kentucky, I bring them up because, like Old Dominion, they ascended from the FCS to FBS a few years ago, but their transition was a lot more unforgiving as it related to wins and losses compared to Old Dominion. To give you an idea, at one point, if I remember correctly, the Hilltoppers had dropped, I think, 26 consecutive games. I mean, it just took them years to be able to recover, and this was a team that had won a national championship in what was 1AA, now FCS, under Jack Harbaugh, the father of John and Jim Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. So, they did some really good things, but under the guidance of Wood Seelig, who's now our director of athletics at Old Dominion, they made that move up, and it was a rocky road. It took them about a good 4 or 5 years to find their footing and finally build a winning combination there. And, of course, we're seeing the benefits of that down the road. Now, everybody kind of looks and shakes their finger at Old Dominion this past year, coming up basically a couple of plays short of getting over the hump against Florida Atlantic, getting to that 6th win and being bowl eligible really on the first try. In the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty good way to be able to transition from FCS to FBS. And we're seeing how quickly the Monarchs are adapting to this higher level. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, but here's the big key. They're still very, very young in the grand scheme of things. So this could be the makings this year of a very special team that we could have in Norfolk the next few years under Coach Wilder.
Right, 8-3. Of course, they did not make a bowl last year, but like you said, still very young. And I think the reaction still hasn't hit people yet, Doug. It's almost like, when are they going to fail? Guess what, folks? They're going to a bowl game. That's a big deal. Here's where it's going to be a big deal. I know the basketball team is not used to that. Old Dominion is going to be talked about the entire month of December, depending on how late of a bowl they'll go to. And I know that the basketball people love basketball. Some people just love football, but this is going to be something that hopefully fans will be getting used to, that they won't be paying as much attention to basketball in January as far as Bobby Wilder is concerned.
Well, yeah, I guess to some extent. I mean, Jeff Jones is doing some good work there with the men's program. Of course, they got a tough opponent tonight in number 10 Louisville to open up the battle for Atlantis later on this evening. They're expected to tip off about 9:30 Eastern time from the Bahamas. But yeah, I mean, getting back to football, I mean, it's pretty clear that they've been able to build on this formula that not only Coach Wilder, but of course, beginning with Jim Jarrett on to Wood Seelig in terms of athletic directors at Old Dominion, and even behind-the-scenes work of not only directors of football operations, but more importantly, guys like Bruce Stewart, who have been part of that process at other institutions like Coastal Carolina, and you're seeing what they're doing now, ascending to FBS. Again, there's a lot of key ingredients that are playing a role in making this all work the way it has thus far so efficiently. And yeah, I mean, I think as time goes on, everybody's figuring it out. I mean, this is not necessarily a fluke. It is not ordinary. I think this is a program that is quickly finding a way to stop, or I guess disrupt, the tradition and long-term success that comes with college football and your traditional powers. This is a team that's only 8 years old that's already causing havoc and looking to do a lot more. I think they're only getting started here, especially with this young group in FBS.
This team has gone into the FCS deep, but this is a new landmark. I mean, Virginia had a bad football season. William Mary's not going to the postseason. Richmond is, but you look at Tech, obviously will, and this is really good. I think up with Old Dominion, Tech right there. They're right there, and that's really a credit to Bobby, his staff. He's finally seemed like he's got a solid staff. One of his former assistants, Bill D, is doing a good job at Oscar Smith, and of course that's never easy because assistant coaches are always a work in progress, but that's great SIDs. You're part of that as well at the PR. Carol Hudson, what he did all in the past. I mean, it's really, this is almost like, and the basketball teams had their success, men and women both, but this is almost like evolving, putting Old Dominion to a light that is really interesting because they've never been in this light before.
Yeah, and you were talking about former assistant coaches to Wilder now. Back in the high school ranks, you mentioned Bill D. Delton Cotton as well, now at Norview, doing a wonderful job. His team's still in the playoffs here after a nice victory over Salem last week. So, yeah, I mean, I think anybody who had been or continues to be associated with this program can really take a lot of pride in what has transpired here in just a short period of time with Old Dominion football. And again, I think considering it is still very novice in the grand scheme of things, I don't think, even though, we're selling out games, I still don't think that the fan base in the area has grasped just how good a thing we've got going on here. But I think little by little, we're seeing more and more people get excited and really get juiced up about the prospects of Old Dominion football, not only this year with what they've done in this run, but moving forward with Monarch football and a lot of other sports here as well at Old Dominion.
Talking to Doug Ripley right here. This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Doug is part of the Old Dominion Radio Network, really in all sports, football, basketball, and him and Ted work so well together as well. And like I said, the Old Dominion people who bought in, and they're going to buy in no matter what, the alumni, the people like yourself, but it's like the casual fans starting to pay attention. The Redskins are always going to be king in this area no matter what, but Old Dominion, as far as colleges, has got that A, B, and C. And this football season, they were waiting for something like this, Doug, and this to me has cemented that. And what's going to happen now is they need to sustain it. And because what happens is you go from 5-7 to an 8-4, 9-3 team, possibly winning the bowl. That's a new sustainment. I think Bobby doesn't mind. Even looking at his post game announcements and speeches, he's been kind of, over the years, as you know, because you've had to interview him a lot, kind of chippy. There's no chip this year. His eyes are wide open. He is excited. He's a very positive guy who calls everybody by their first name. For him, his enthusiasm is off the charts too.
Well, you know what? That's a polar opposite before the season had started.
Yeah.
I had never seen Bobby as vocal as he was and outspoken about how little respect that his program was getting going into this year, despite returning 17 letter winners in terms of starters and so many other letter winners from a year ago. And again, a team that just missed out on bowl eligibility at 5-7 a year ago. Again, being picked to finish sixth in the CUSA East Division, I think, was a real eye-opener there for his program, on top of the fact that they had come so close but just missed out on bowl eligibility a year ago. So I think they've been riding that momentum and riding that angst along the road. And then, I think also not to be discounted, what these guys have done in the community, I think, is brought this team a lot closer together. And he's mentioned that from time to time with the Circle of Unity that they've been a part of, and, of course, the programs that have shot off from that with Children for Humanity. They've only done one event here, but they're really excited. Not only the coaching staff, but more importantly, the student-athletes are excited about the prospects of being able to reach out and make a positive impact in their community, both on and off the field.
Doug Ripley, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson in the college football poll for the Final Four. You see the Big Ten championships. You see the SEC championships. Any talk as far as Conference USA? What are your thoughts about that in general? Because Old Dominion, like we said, has got a minimum of 2 games left, one against FIU on Saturday and a bowl game. What are your thoughts about this league for Old Dominion in the future?
I mean, there's a lot of new programs. Of course, the Monarchs are one of them. But if you're just talking about simply football, we've got a lot of novice programs out there. I mean, Florida Atlantic was started by the former Miami coach Howard Schnellenberger about a decade and a half ago. Charlotte's only in its third or fourth year. About half the league features a lot of new teams. So and a lot of those teams have been making an impact in this season alone. You're really seeing the tradition, the long-standing traditional programs get knocked around a little bit by some of these up-and-comers. I mean, UTSA also not even 6 or 7 years old. They're stepping up here as well. They've had some really nice victories, whereas Marshall and Southern Miss, a couple of teams that have been contenders in Conference USA for a long time, in particular the last couple of years, have struggled to kind of find their footing. So I think there's a lot of exciting prospects on the football side of things. Now, basketball, I think one of the main issues is that the league as a whole has not done a good enough job in non-conference play, both scheduling and also competing in those games, to be able to put themselves in the kind of position to warrant at-large bids. And I think if they can get over the hump on that front, then being in CUSA and the opportunities that lie with this 14-team league, I think you could see things take off similar to what we saw with Old Dominion as part of the CAA, where it took a little while for VCU, for George Mason, for Old Dominion, for William and Mary, James Madison to be able to find their footing and figure things out. I think you could see a similar evolution happen with Conference USA, but given the nature of college athletics these days, especially with the way the conference realignment has shaken things up over the last few years, all it takes is a couple of dominoes to fall, and who knows what happens.
Sure.
So, it's one of those things we'll have to just keep an eye on. The only thing Old Dominion can do is worry about themselves and worry about making sure that their facilities are on the cutting edge here in leading as many institutions or groups of institutions as possible. And fortunately, in a lot of different regards, that is the case. Now, we do have a lot of room to improve. Of course, we've got the rebirth of Foreman Field at SB Ballard Stadium set to get going after 2018 into 2019. That's very exciting. They're adding on to the LR Hill Sports Complex, which houses not only football facilities and practice facilities, but also on top of that, field hockey and lacrosse. In fact, field hockey just hosting the Division I NCAA championship for the third time in 5 years. So, they're building on. There's a lot of excitement happening there. And even all over campus. I mean, soccer facilities have improved here in the last few years. Their tennis facility is one of the best in the country, the Folk Stevens Tennis Center. The TED, of course, one of the crown jewels in mid-major college sports, and they're getting an additional improvement here, not only with these new LED boards from a year ago, but also the Mitcham Basketball Performance Center that's set to open after this season for our men's and women's basketball programs, which will be a huge plus for them. They're very excited about that. We're making things happen on a lot of different fronts on the facilities side and also with the staffing side here under Wood Selig's leadership. So, Old Dominion is circling the wagon to make sure that they are on the cutting edge and in best possible position moving forward with this wild and crazy landscape that is college athletics.
Right. Hard to believe that TED's in its 15th year, and we only have a few more minutes left. But, again, Old Dominion football 8-3, FIU on Saturday. They'll be going to a bowl. Men's basketball just getting started. They're taking on Louisville. And, of course, Wichita State, they're 2-0. Women's basketball team, of course, like you said, 1-2. They've got North Carolina Central and Dartmouth coming up, and they lost to Duke last night 92-64. And of course, exciting times, like you said. William Mary just played Louisville, and of course now it's two state teams in a row that Louisville is going to play with Old Dominion, and of course William Mary's got Duke tonight. But the men's basketball team under Jeff Jones, 4 years and going strong. Karen Barefoot, to me, she's the most energetic, dynamic coach in the state of Virginia, men or women, bar none. I've known Karen, as you well know, Doug, since we've been kids. So this is an exciting time for Old Dominion basketball as well.
It is, and look forward to seeing what the next few months bring to the table here. I think both programs, pretty safe to say, are a little under the radar here this year as it relates to Conference USA. Of course, men's basketball graduated Trey Freeman and Aaron Bay coach, so a lot of the scoring load from a year ago and a lot of the leadership. But I think you're seeing a couple of guys fill in nicely here, and even on the youth front, some guys really stepping up and making things happen. Ahmad Kaver, in particular, stepped up, had a great game at Richmond, ending a 10-game losing streak for the Monarchs at the Robbins Center. And we're also seeing a lot of vocal leadership and also leadership by example, not only from Jenny Sims on the Lady Monarchs side, but also Destiny Young with a couple of double-doubles to begin the year. And last night at Duke, we saw the emergence of a freshman, 6'4" tall, Mania Jones. Hadn't done a whole lot in the first couple of games. Looked like she was just trying to feel her way through things. Really looked confident last night against the Blue Devils. Put up a career-high 15 points with 7 rebounds and really got things going. If they can continue to find some additional role players behind Sims and Young, this has the potential to be a very special team for Lady Monarch basketball head coach Karen Barefoot. But they've got some work to do. They definitely got some work to do. And also look ahead to the spring, Greg. We haven't talked about him at all, but Old Dominion baseball, Chris Finwood's got a really good thing going. But we were talking also about facilities. I think one of the major priorities Old Dominion's going to need to look into here in the next few years as they continue to grow and improve upon these facilities. If there is any facility in Conference USA that Old Dominion hosts, any of the Old Dominion sports in CUSA, where we are lacking, it's probably more on the baseball side of things. And that's even with the improvements that have been made recently with the Paul Keys hitting facility and a couple other things that are either currently in the works or had already been installed here in the last few years. The bud still needs quite a bit of work. So anything Monarch Nation can do to get behind that will certainly be a big help in one of the nation's best collegiate baseball conferences in Conference USA, a league that put 4 teams into the NCAA tournament a year ago, and Old Dominion has been competitive in that league, and they've got a chance to be really good this coming spring. I'll be on the call on that on Star 1310 and also on ODUsports.com and CUSA.TV covering the baseball Monarchs in the spring. There's a lot of excitement around Coach Finwood's program.
Well, let me leave you with this final question, too. A lot of the fans are so used in the past, as you will know. It's taken a lot of time when you get used to VCU or teams like, in the, Conference USA that they play now aren't quite like the CAA. Of course, the CUSA is a better league than the CAA, but it's hard to get mad at schools like FIU or Rice when there's no rivalry there in basketball. I think that's still taking a while to grasp. And also the travel for men's basketball, women's basketball. When you get past December, when you play teams like Duke or when you play a team like Richmond or James Madison in men or women's basketball, there's no I can't stand FIU or FAU. You don't see that in January and February. I think those fans are coming because of the sheer love of Old Dominion basketball.
Oh, no question at all, Greg, and I think that those are valid points. I think everybody, certainly when they get behind Old Dominion sports, they want to travel with the team. And, of course, being in Conference USA has made that a lot more difficult than when the Monarchs were in the Colonial, where most of the schools were either in the Commonwealth of Virginia or just outside of it to the north and south. So, yeah, I mean, valid points all around. And one thing that I think Monarch Nation and all the other folks that are listening in that are curious about Old Dominion athletics, we've got a real strong leadership team in place here, not only with Wood Seelig and his team at ODU Sports, but also on top of that, John Broderick, the president of Old Dominion University, and all the fine folks on the academic side of the house working with him. Really a good joint effort in place, and they're always keeping aware of that, paying attention, not only to growing trends or the changing landscape of college athletics, but trying to do their part to keep Old Dominion on the forefront of that, so we're in the best possible position moving forward, whatever conference we end up in. But right now, I mean, things are going well in Conference USA. The Monarchs and Lady Monarch athletic programs, they are competitive in just about all of our sports, looking for championships, and really on the brink on a lot of different sports of making that happen. It's an exciting time, really, for Old Dominion sports.
Well, Doug, safe travels. All the best to you and your family for the holidays, and keep up the good work in football, basketball, and baseball, and we will talk to you during one of the men's or women's basketball games this year.
Hey, man, it's a labor of love. I just worked 5 events in the last 6 days, and it's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to taking a couple of days off. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you, and that's all your listeners here. Again, a joyous holiday here this week.
You're a real gentleman, Doug. Thank you so much, my friend, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, Doug Ripley right there, part of the Old Dominion Radio Network with Joe Daniel. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. And, of course, we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world listening to today's broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on TuneIn.com. And they are typing in WHKT to listen on their phone or your computer. Subscribe to Sports Scene on YouTube as well as TuneIn. Thank you for all that you do. We hope you're enjoying today's version of Sports Scene. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to join me for Sports Scene live each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in the search box. Excellent guests and interaction at Greg Bick on Twitter, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedoors.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com.
And I want to thank Doug Ripley, one of the voices of Old Dominion's radio network, for joining me in the first half hour. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, noon to 1, gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link for archived shows. Subscribe to my TuneIn page as well by going to WHKT right now on tunein.com. Just type in WHKT in the search box and you subscribe right there to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Also to my YouTube page as well. Shop in the marketplace sponsors of gjbtv.com and Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Save the date for Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. And of course, like we mentioned, Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Browse, shop, visit tonight in Newport News. It's already on YouTube now. The encore of Grassfield and Woodside. Grassfield's from Chesapeake, Woodside's from Newport News, in a postseason football game in which Woodside won on Cox Cable 47 517 at 7 o'clock as well tonight on NNPS TV. Big Redskins Cowboys game tomorrow, a Thanksgiving tradition to see the Redskins playing the Cowboys in a very, very meaningful game this year as well in 2016. All right, we want to welcome in our business sports spotlight from Sports Collectibles, 757 Sports Collectibles, Anthony Checchio from Virginia Beach. He's at 2686 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Great place to go shopping during the holidays. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Greg. How's it going, man? Thanks for having me back on the show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. It's your time of the year. It's Thanksgiving Eve. This is when people start wanting to buy gifts. Of course, they should buy them 12 months out of the year. But let's talk about 757 Sports Collectibles.
Yeah, man, this is our time of the year. Put in sports terms, it's the fourth quarter, so we're geared up. We're ready to go. Black Friday on Friday. We've got a lot of good specials going on in the store. 20% off on a lot of different items that pretty much could be gift items or gifts to yourself, quite honestly. So come on by and see us at Virginia Beach Boulevard, 2686, across from the RK Chevrolet dealership in Virginia Beach.
All right, when somebody walks into your store, it's a sports mecca paradise, Anthony. What are they going to see?
The first thing they will see is a pyramid of all the NFL mini helmets, throwback, current, teams that don't even exist anymore. We actually have some college teams as well. And then on the mini helmet note, we just started doing some fundraising with some of the local high schools. So we've been doing their high school mini helmets for the seniors, and then for other people that are friends of the program or former players that might want to buy them, we do a nice profit share with them. So it's been really good. Early on, we did First Colonials mini helmets, and we also did Nansman Rivers. And then once you get by the mini helmets, you will see a lot of unsigned collectible items, which include like a heritage banner, which is the team's logos from over the years. We have a lot of sports figurines, all the big names, Gronk, Cam, Odell Beckham, Russell Wilson. We've got a lot of autograph product in the back and in our display cases. We've got panoramics of every NFL stadium, also every NHL arena. And then this year we've added a ton of headwear and footwear to keep you warm during the cold holiday season.
You can see his link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com as well. That is, of course, our good friend from 757SC.com, Anthony Checchio, of course, talking about sports collectibles. And, of course, we see some popular NFL color teams like Colts, Redskins, Steelers, Raiders, Cowboys. They rarely change their logos. Then you see teams like the Dolphins who've changed their iconic dolphin, and I'm not a big fan of that change. But anyway, do you see buying trends because of that?
It's funny you say the Dolphins logo specifically, because the funny thing is most Dolphins fans feel the same way you do. They don't like the new logo, and they buy a lot of the vintage logo items, and we do actually account for that. We do try to carry both current and vintage items as much as we can. And then for items we don't actually have in store, we have a huge catalog of about 500,000 additional products that we can access and get in very quickly. I'd say 75% of those items we can get you free 2-day shipping on, which is like a $15 value for most retail sites. So, I mean, it's pretty much the possibilities are endless when you come into our store. We can get everything done for you. A lot of people just drop their Christmas list off and say, here you go, take care of it for me, and they just head out and come back about 5 days later and everything's all set for them. So, I mean, that's definitely something we can do for everybody out there to get their holidays and make it a little bit easier so they can spend more time with their family.
All right, Anthony, final few questions here, of course. Your hours, you're all over Facebook and Twitter. You got a nice website as well. Go ahead and talk about your hours and Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, anything upcoming. Because you've done a lot of, you've also had a lot of athletes over the years come by as well.
We have, yeah. We've had, this past year, we were able to get the Old Dominion great Taylor Heineke in for an autograph signing. We had Tyrod Taylor, the former Hampton and Virginia Tech, now the Buffalo starter, at quarterback in the store. And then we also had Santana Moss over the summer, the Redskins great, the Cowboy Killer is what they call him. But as far as future plans for that, we do have some big names kind of lined up for next year. We've also are hoping to continue the Old Dominion trend and get some of their retired or actually alumni, I guess you would call it, into the store. But to move on from that, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, it's all branded the same, 757 Sports Collectibles. Our Twitter handle is actually a little shorter, 757SC, and you'll be able to see all our updated products on there. Every product we bring into the store will go on Twitter to know that it's in there. As far as social media is concerned, we try to be as up to date as possible. And then store hours during the holidays, we are 10:30 to 7:30 on weekdays. Saturdays we're 10 to 7, and then Sundays we are 12 to 6.
Very good. All right, my friend, all the best to you and your family for a great Thanksgiving. 2686 Virginia Beach Boulevard. It is 757 Sports Collectibles. Phone number 340-4016. Go by and see Anthony and the great staff. Keep up the good work, my friend.
All right, Greg. Thanks again, man. Have a great holiday.
You too. All right, Anthony right there from 757 Sports Collectibles as well. Also want to thank Tokyo Grill and Buffet in Hampton at 49 West Mercury Boulevard. Great place for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Open at 11 o'clock each morning as well for great American food, hibachi, sushi, fruit, dessert, Chinese, Japanese. They've got it all. Even a little kimchi, too, as well. Excellent place for food right there at the Langley Square Shopping Center. It's Tokyo Grill and Buffet. Go by and see Bing and the friendly staff right there at 49 West Mercury Boulevard. Open for lunch right now. Open for dinner till late night tonight, 7 days a week. This is Sports Scene right here on 1650 AM, tunein.com. Hope you've enjoyed so far Doug Ripley and Anthony Checchio. Sports Scene will continue after these messages.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Wonder what teased me off this afternoon, Joe Daniel. It's definitely not our good friends over here. Also, want to thank our good friends at Outback Steakhouse. Mike and the staff over at 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville. Phone number 523-4832. Great place to have lunch and dinner, of course. And they got all types of great. This is gift card season, JD, as you well know. You get a lot of gift cards too. But this is definitely gift card season.
It's the go-to present. Like if you don't know what to get anybody, hey, here's a gift card to Amazon.com.
Right.
Have fun. Go crazy.
And I know my sister and Maria both love Amazon.com. Give the gift of Bloomin' Great Steak and receive a $10 bonus card with purchase of $50 in gift cards from Outback Steakhouse. Great appetizers like bloom petals, coconut shrimp, steaks, seafood, pasta, desserts, all right there at 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville. Watch the sporting events there. Great place is Outback Steakhouse right there in Kempsville. All right, let's welcome him back. He is always punctual as always, and Brad Tuggle from the Virginia Stage Company. It's his time of the year with the Christmas Carol going on at the newly renovated Wells Theater. How are you, Brad?
Doing great, Greg. How are you?
Good, my friend. Of course, an exciting time. We're still in November, but Christmas Carol is coming up, and let's talk about that wonderful showcase.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. We'll open up on December the 7th. It'll be the first show that we've had back in the newly renovated Wells Theater since last March.
Well, let's talk about the cast and the crew. It's only going to be on for a few weeks, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we start on December the 7th, and then we go through Christmas Eve. So we'll have performances, between 8 and 10 performances a week. So there's no excuse. Any night of the week except for Monday, you can come see us.
Right. I like that attitude, too. Norfolk's always well lit up on Granby Street, so it's really an exciting time just to even walk right by your theater.
Absolutely, and with all the new restaurants opening up and down Granby Street, you can really make a night of it now. We've been hearing from a lot of people calling in over the past week that it's husbands and wives buying Christmas presents in advance for each other, and their Christmas present is the gift of theater, and they're coming out to see Christmas Carol.
Absolutely. Of course, give us some social media and website information for the listeners.
Sure. Our website is vastage.org. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So over the next 2 weeks, we'll be releasing interviews with about 12 different people in the cast, these video interviews that we're doing, and you'll get a sneak peek, some behind-the-scenes, some photos of exactly what's going on in order to put on this massive production that we put on every year.
Really it is. Of course, a great website. And talk about the renovations. What was the biggest part of it?
Yeah, this is the first phase of the renovations, and we really focused on the patron amenities. So as a patron walking through the front door, you'll see that there's a brand new bar and box office, as well as there's going to be an education space upstairs. So we've now got 2 classrooms where we can bring people into the theater. And then, much requested, there are more ladies' restrooms than we've had before.
That's great. And, of course, you always have concessions, too, correct?
Oh, absolutely. We'll have 2 fully stocked bars. It's a kind of tradition that people have. If you come see the Christmas Carol, it's a time to celebrate, and maybe you grab a beverage and take it on into the theater with you.
Yeah, because you guys were really all over the place in Norfolk. I mean, your office was in a different location, so it's been a transition not only for the actors and actresses, but you as well.
Absolutely. We're really, really excited to be back. Though it was 3 shows in a row that we did. We did them at Chrysler Hall, and then at ODU, and then at the Roper, which is just down the street. But it really feels like we're coming home. We've heard from a lot of people who are excited about getting back into the Wells and seeing what it looks like. We've really done a lot to move it. It probably looks even closer to what it did when it opened in 1913 than it has in any renovation before. So we're really keeping that charm of the classic theater while updating it and bringing in all these new amenities for people.
A lot of fun. And people who have not seen The Christmas Carol, it's been on TV for decades. And, of course, the theater, it's like basically an old miser who really kept to himself, was a loner, who finally saw the light at an old age. But it really is what's all about the holidays, about reflecting on your past, present, and future.
Absolutely, and ours is filled with music, and it's a little bit different than it was last year. We always try to freshen it up. We've got a lot of really incredible singers who are in the show, so you'll see more solos from these singers than you've seen in the past. So even if you've seen Christmas Carol with us before, it's going to be different than any Christmas Carol we've done before.
All right, Brad Tuggle, leave us with your website and one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's vastage.org, and like I said, you can go ahead and get Christmas presents through us for Christmas Carol, and then we're also offering a 3-show package, which will be all of our shows January through April, which makes a perfect Christmas gift. You can get that for $99.
And what's the next show after Christmas Carol?
We'll have our grand reopening of the Wells Theater where everything's finished, all the new furniture, all of that's in the space, with A Streetcar Named Desire on January the 17th.
All right, very good. All the best, my friend. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, you too.
Thank you, Brad. All right, folks. Bye-bye. A locals tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. They showcase the NFL. They showcase NHL, NBA, college basketball, college football, all the bowl games, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great place for seafood, pasta, steaks, burgers. Go by and see Matt, Mark, and the wonderful staff right there at CP Shuckers. And of course, and we mentioned the soccer news too. Congratulations to Bruce Arena, U.S. men's national soccer coach, former UVA soccer coach. Again, congratulations to Bruce Arena, U.S. men's national soccer coach. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon at both locations and book your holiday parties at CP Shuckers and cpshuckers.com. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll come back to what teased me off.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Sports Scene, Hampton Roads' premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Wednesday from 12 to 1 on AM 1650 and TuneIn.com.
It was a very proactive role for one gentleman, but the Board of Visitors and Wood Sea League and the president kind of let him know that there is a pecking order involved.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Wednesdays at noon on AM 1650, The Answer.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Safe travels to everybody as well. Also, our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings, your place to watch college basketball, the NBA, NHL, NFL, all the bowl games this holiday season, of course. Go by and see Paul Odette and the wonderful staff at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Get some great wings. They've got great burgers. They've got great appetizers, desserts right there at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. new Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Go watch college basketball, the NBA. It's going on now, of course. Great time of the year with the NFL and the NHL and just so many different sports going on at Buffalo Wild Wings. Truly, the best place for wings is Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. In fact, you get, buy $25 in holiday gift cards for use on a future visit. Get a blazing bonus worth up to $100 that you can cash in January 1st. So it could be worth up to $100 for you just by buying $25 in gift cards. It's now time for What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right. Let's get to What Tees Me Off, our favorite part of the segment here. The phrase, Joe Daniel, I'm new at this. I'm new at this.
Sounds like a cop-out to me.
Exactly. Lame words. The words, Joe Daniel, could be, maybe, I don't know, possibly, means unsure, and person is not confident.
Especially when they're all strung together. That possibly could be
maybe
under these circumstances.
Yeah, the color rush uniforms in the NFL when the Dolphins start wearing all orange, I don't get that. I'm sorry. Fasting for more than one day, it's tough. It's necessary, but tough. And I had to go through that last week. We'll get into that to another story. I feel a lot better now. I'm sorry, leaves this time of the year. Neighbors, if the leaves go into somebody else's yard, it's your obligation to pick up those leaves as well. If, of course, they don't do it on purpose. Also, what tees me off as well, people who park their cars near your house without asking, sorry, park near your property. Biting your tongue is one thing, Joe. Biting your lip is another. Oh, that hurts. Musicians and artists, you're adults. Deal with the election results. Don't act immature and pout. I'm talking about Hamilton and so many of these other music award winners.
Yeah.
I mean, you're adults. That our country is great because we have the right to vote, unlike a communist country, or maybe let's say like back when Saddam Hussein was in charge of Iraq. You vote for somebody else, guess what happens?
Or the people that say that they're leaving the country if their person doesn't get elected, and then turn around and say, you're the bigot, you're this, because I'm not fulfilling what I said I was going to do.
Right. What else teased me off, of course? Failure of equipment. Of course, we can't control equipment, too, as well. Joe Daniel, it's Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for?
Thankful for my family. We have a great family, have a great wife, works hard every day. She's a nurse in the Navy, so I'm sure a lot of people are thankful for her as well. I'm thankful for my 2 kids, so I'm thankful for family. And what are you thankful for?
Same thing, family and friends, of course. Health, of course, is number one. You got to have faith. I would say family, faith. Looking forward to seeing Val, John, Maria, all the great people as well. And, of course, thanks to all of our great sponsors and guests today, too. Of course, Doug Ripley, Anthony Checchio, and, of course, Brad Tuggle. Go to gjbtv.com for my background. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows of Sports Scene. Tell your friends. Also, thank you for listening on tunein.com by typing in WHKT on your phone or your computer. Greg Bick on Twitter, GregBic as well. Happy Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.
The best of News Talk Radio in Hampton Roads, AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth. We are the answer.